Welcome back, my beautiful people. Dong City, episode number 53, March 31st, 2021. The Don Drysdale slash Bobby Abreu, who's afraid of every right field wall he ever met edition. Day before opening day, we're hyped. Everyone's hyped. Again, this is Dong City. Vince Mercandetti, Rob in the background. How you doing today, Vince?
I'm doing great. You took my wall joke moment, but I'll allow it. At least one of us did it. I am wearing your favorite hat, which I know, so I'm thrilled about that. And I'm excited. I've been excited all day for this. We're going to run everyone through awards, and then we're going to run everyone through playoff predictions and things of that nature. Maybe we'll get some prop bets along the way. And, of course, we were given an arsenal, thanks to Sean Cusack earlier today, of predictions from you, which we'll be running by and judging accordingly as we go on here for this show. How are you, Henry?
Good. You know, it's funny. He posted that, and I'm like, no, we're doing the prediction show. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I saw some of the prediction, and I'm like, no, this is good. This is real good. We're going to use this later.
That's right. We are weaponizing all of your posts that want to make predictions. I mean, it's good. We've seen predictions all. I'm glad we're getting that kind of action in the group, first and foremost. But certainly we want to capitalize on fan passion as much as possible.
We usually put up a prediction post on opening day, which I will still do because I like to go back and then we can, needle each other at the end of the season at who just totally tanked their predictions, which is always a fun part at the end of the year.
Yeah, I always have this weird I'm always better with NL than AL, which makes no sense because I watch the AL far more. Maybe that's the problem. But we'll see how it goes this year. Yeah, I mean, let's jump into it. We're going to try and make this a 1 hour episode. That's my goal. I'm not getting paid longer than 60 minutes. So that's where we're going. I'm a millennial. Can't work for free. We're going to start with the Rookie of the Year awards, and then we'll move into Sai Young's Manager of the Year, MVPs, and then we'll get into the playoff predictions to wrap it up here. We'll have Rob pop in periodically with his thoughts. Let's start with AL Rookie of the Year. You can start it, Henry. Who do you have for AL Rookie of the Year?
There's a few guys that's interesting. I know Randy Arozarena kind of gets everyone's attentions because of how he came up last season and the absurd amount of noise that kid made in the playoffs. There's a lot of exciting rookies. You have Andrew Vaughn in the White Sox, Nick Madrigal also in the White Sox. They'll probably steal some votes from one another. I'm going to go with the guy that was the crown jewel of the Mets system that was traded to Seattle and go with Jarred Kelenic here, the guy who was sent down. I'm sure he'll be up in a few weeks to to screw him out of service time like MLB teams always do. But I'm going to go with Jarred Kelenic. They're going to have back-to-back Rookie of the Years on the Mariners and still do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I applied some strategy to this year, and one of them was service time and which teams are going to screw their players out of it. By the way, if you guys are just joining us, feel free to throw your thoughts in there. Matt adding Michael Kopech is still Rookie of the Year eligible, so we'll see what
That's a good pick. The problem is those guys are going to be just, you're talking about three potential guys on one team. They're usually going to steal votes from one another.
Yeah, so that in mind, actually, Andrew O'Sullivan, I think, mentioned him last show, and I was kind of shocked because I thought I was the only one in this direction. I'm going to go with Ryan Mountcastle, still Rookie of the Year eligible. He came up last year, was pretty good right off the bat. I just love his hitting profile. He already had his cup of coffee. Sometimes we see guys struggle in those first few weeks in the majors. He's in a hitter's park, Camden Yards, great place to put up numbers. And everyone, like you said, they're picking Wander. They're picking, Bobby Witt Jr., guys who may not be up until April, May, June. I'm going to go with the guy I know is going to get playing time. And I'm also going to go with the guy who already looked good. Kelenic, for what it's worth, is my runner-up. I think he'll come in second.
So I almost went Wander Franco. You mentioned Wander. I almost went Wander Franco. I think that kid is the next superstar in the league. I think it's going to be one of those things where if he comes up even later on in the season, then he can just go on an absolute tear and probably steal this award in the last 2 to 3 months of the season. He has that much potential. So
he can, yeah. I'll take my chances. It's a high floor pick that I'm making here. Definitely not the highest ceiling though of some of these guys. How about for NL? I'm going to go with Cabrian Hayes. Similar reasons. He's going to get all the playing time in the world on the Pirates. I like the kid. I think he's got a good, I like him as a prospect. And my runner-up here is Sixto Sanchez. I'm not picking him simply because he's not on the opening day roster and he's going to be on the innings limit. So I don't know if he'll be able to make enough of an impact. I'll go with the hitter here.
So it's funny. Everyone is picking Cabrian Hayes. I think that's probably the universal pick in the NL, and you can't miss. The kid is a stud. Like I said in the last show, that's what Pittsburgh does, man. They have these generational guys. You want Barry Bonds and Andrew McCutchen, and I think Cabrian Hayes is going to be that next generational player for the Pirates. I'm going to go a different route, and you have guys like Ian Anderson and Dylan Carlson, and I think Gavin Lux is still eligible. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I am choosing Sixto Sanchez for the same reasons you said, though, because you said he's going to be called up late. So I think he's going to make an impact, and he's going to have some gaudy numbers at the end of the season because he's going to come up a little later in the year. That kid is an absolute stud. He was fun to watch. I should have kept him in fantasy, but I was jerked by our wonderful commissioners in our league with their ridiculous keeper rules in the minor leagues. Sixto Sanchez should have been kept in the minors. Further proof that he's starting the year in the minors. So I should have been able to keep him, but that's another situation for another day. But yeah, I'm going to go Sixto Sanchez on the Marlins here.
He reminds me of a young, I say young like he wasn't also young, Ventura on the Royals, rest in peace. They kind of remind me of each other, and certainly would have been a great choice in his own right when he was a rookie. So yeah, I mean, Sixto's got all the stuff. He's in the right ballpark. He's in the right system. Marlins, I think, are underrated for how they produce pitchers. Yeah. So not a bad choice. That's why he's second for me.
22, and you have that much talent. I mean,
yeah.
We saw the last young stud that the Marlins had. We saw his potential before he was tragically killed.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like the Pirates, but with pitchers. Right. they're gonna be on a different team, being in the World Series at one point. Let's move over then to our Cy Young Awards. We'll flip it back to the AL.
Before you do that, I just want to go over some of these comments we have here. Pat's throwing every White Sox against the wall. My man Leon's going with Nate Pearson. Not a bad pick. Larry said, "Fuck you." Larry's going with Mountcastle.
There you go, Larry.
So now that Larry said that, it's definitely not Mountcastle.
Us Yankee fans have to stick together with our Oriole Rookie of the Year picks. We'll see. I mean, I think everyone's kind of in that ballpark. Mountcastle's one of those guys he could finish first, or he might finish like 8th. So we'll see.
Randy joined in the comment section, who is relieved out of his mind.
Oh yeah. Never seen a kid so excited.
Those who don't know, Randy's coming down, and he and I are going to opening day tomorrow. And Randy was shitting bricks because he was waiting for his COVID results. And Randy being Randy, he was in his feelings, and he had a feeling he'd test positive, but he is negative, so he's good to go. And he's buying me a beer tomorrow.
You guys are 3 of 10,000 allowed in the stadium. Absolutely. So good for you. That's elite territory.
Or when you add my son and Hardy.
So, yeah, that's a nice group. Your son fresh back from college, right?
He's on the road. He should be home any minute now, in about another hour or so.
Plenty of snacks in the house.
Came down for the weekend just for the games. If that's not a family, I don't know what is.
Yeah, there you go. Matt also throwing out Andrew Vaughn. I'm not voting for Andrew Vaughn for the same reason, and I think first baseman gets screwed a lot of the time. Cy Young.
Oh, you went Cy Young. Homie.
Yeah. This is the moment Matt lives for, so I wanted to go to Cy Young while we've got him here. Okay. I'll start with...
Before you go, I need these guys to be active in the comments. I need to know who they're choosing. So let's go, guys. Cy Young, ALNL, let's go.
Yeah, give us your Cy Young, and also give us your Manager of the Year picks, because that's what we're going to go into next. I want to have those before we get to it. Here's my thought process with Cy Young. I think Garrett Cole is at this point hands down the best pitcher in the AL, and I say hands down at this point because Sale and Verlander are out. They're hurt. So if you had a different guy, I don't think he's there anymore. Glasnow's not going to throw enough innings. Snell's gone. Charlie Morton's gone.
I mean, you have Shane Justin Bieber there, man. I mean, he just
so Shane Bieber's the only one. My thing with Shane Bieber though is, and granted, it's a small sample size in a good and a bad way. He got clobbered the only game he didn't face those Central teams, and the Central teams have the worst hitting. So he's now facing the entire league. We'll see how he does in year 2. Garrett Cole's a proven commodity. I think he's the best pitcher in the AL. That said, I think he's the runner-up for Cy Young. I think it's going to go to Lucas Giolito. And that he's my pick for a few reasons. One is he's in the Central, and I like guys who face inferior competition. Two is that Giolito's building off a career year, and his spring, I know him because have him in a dynasty league, has been really, really good. So he's ready to go. No innings limit. That's really in high regard for me in 2021 is these guys who are already completely stretched out and don't have any hesitation. So Giolito winner, Cole runner up. What do you have?
So I actually had Lucas Giolito second.
Okay, we're flip flopping.
Yeah. So to me, I think, and I could be. We'll see at the end of the year if I'm right or wrong. But to me, it's a 3-player race. It's Cole, Shane Bieber, and Lucas Giolito. I'm gonna go with Garrett Cole getting his first Cy Young. He was jerked out of one when he was with the Astros to his own teammate. I'm gonna go Garrett Cole here. He's gonna put the Yankees on his back this year. Just let's keep the ball in the ballpark, Garrett.
It is kind of weird. You don't think about the dearth of pitching talent in the AL, but there's really only a handful of elite.
You have guys, you can go with Kenta Maeda. You know, he's always been that guy that's there, gives you numbers, just quiet. You can go with Hyun-Jin Ryu. But, I mean, you're talking about guys that jump off the board on you, and it's those three to me.
Yeah, those guys are more rock solid to me than Cy Young caliber, if you can see the difference. And I feel the same way about Berrios. Does he have the stuff to be a Cy Young? Yeah, but is he a solid 3? That's what he is so far.
Over Jose Berrios. I thought we had the first great Puerto Rican pitcher, and he failed me, so I am not on the Jose Berrios train.
Fair enough. I'm with you. I'm not on any Twins train, so I'm right there with you. NL, this is my first very me pick. I'll start it by saying Jake DeGrom will be the runner-up, and I say that because I feel like Jake DeGrom, he won his Cy Youngs, now he's just going to be runner-up for the next 3 or 4 years. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just going to be that's just how it plays out. What it came down to for me was, is it going to be the hate fuck pick in Trevor Bauer, or is it going to be the hate fuck pick in Yu Darvish? Because I love both those guys, but everyone I don't like also doesn't like them. So for me, I'm a total believer in Trevor Bauer. I don't think last year was a fluke. I didn't think 2018 was a fluke. I get it. He's not as proven as a DeGrom type, but does he have that upside? Sure. Is he going to a pitcher's park for the first time in his career? Sure. Is he going to the West where it's mostly pitcher's parks? Sure. Same thought process with Yu Darvish, though. Going from Wrigley to San Diego, I'll take that trade-off. Much better pitching organization. And he was a salary dump. So this is just going to make it look even worse if you're the Cubs, that you dumped the Cy Young winner. I think Yu's going to go in there and light the world on fire for the Padres. I like him in 2022. I will say, as far as salary dump, I don't think he has many elite years left. This might be it, maybe next year. But for this year, I think Yu Darvish is going to win the Cy Young in the NL.
So remember when he was a free agent and I said the Yankees should sign Yu Darvish, and all the Yankee fans jumped on me and they thought I was nuts?
Yeah, me included. I did not like you until last year.
Told you. With that said, I don't think Yu Darvish is winning the Cy Young Award. Jake DeGrom, this guy is an absolute stud. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. You know, it's him, it's Garrett Cole. I still give the edge to Jake. I don't like that he's got a lot of innings on that arm the last 3 years prior to 2020.
Yeah.
He's got to slow down at some point. He can't keep up this absurd run. I mean, I'm here for it. I want to watch it. It's fun when Jake pitches. I live in New York. When Jake pitches, the media's there. He gets the back pages the next day. It's fun when Jake DeGrom pitches. But this year, I'm going with Jack Flaherty.
Really? Okay.
I was close to going with Luis Castillo. I was very close to going with Luis Castillo. I think he has a breakout year also, but I'm going to go with Jack Flaherty. There was a few guys I thought Trevor Bauer. So I'm not as high on Trevor Bauer as you are. You know, I never have been. And then I drafted Trevor Bauer in fantasy, so now I kind of have to be high on him.
Yep, that's how it works.
I'm married to him, but I'm going to go with Flaherty. And if Jake wins another Cy Young, it's not surprising.
I like Flaherty a lot. I liked him the year that he really did break out. I wanted him in every draft. And then last year he struggled, but as we know, I don't put that much stock into how 2020 went one way or another.
The choices for NL were much harder, man. You had Jack Flaherty.
Oh, yeah. You had a lot of options.
Castillo. Aaron Nola is a guy that no one's talking about who can easily win the Cy Young. He just plays on this year's shitty Philly team.
Yeah, and you brought up Castillo. That's a great pick every year. Every year he hasn't done it, but it could happen.
I just hope they're traded already.
We're seeing some picks in here. See, my problem with Walker Buehler is and Blake Snell I just don't think they're going to be stretched out enough to get the Cy Young. I don't think they're going to throw enough innings. No real fault of their own. It's just the way that it's the way Snell's career has gone to this point, and it's the way Buehler's team works. So
the thing that I think ever since King Felix stopped that trend with wins and innings, I think the voters kind of say, hey, when he did pitch, this guy was dominant. And you saw that with DeGrom when his first Cy Young. You saw that with King Felix.
Wins, yes. I agree with you with wins. I don't think they're going to be able to stack enough strikeouts and things of that nature to bring it home. Because a guy like Scherzer, if he stays healthy, and DeGrom for that record, or for that, they're going to have the strikeouts and other stuff that's going to put them over the edge. So if I'm taking a guy who's not one of those guys, it's got to be someone who's at least going to have the innings to be able to match it. That's why I'm disqualifying those two guys. Not bad picks, just the way I think. Strasburg, I think, is too injury prone.
So I don't think we're going to see those typical strikeout numbers and high numbers because I said it across the board. My prediction is we don't see a 200 inning pitcher. I've been on that train all season. So
right,
I think
but I still think
numbers
it's going to fall in line.
But the AL's NL's definitely more stacked than the AL in terms of premier pitchers.
For sure, yeah.
Because you have shittier lineups, but that's another issue for another day.
Yeah. Buehler, by the way, fantastic if you just want to look at the stats. I think that he could very well be the best pitcher. Whether he wins the Cy Young or not, we'll see. So I've Darvish officially, and you are not. Both of us have Jake as second. Is that right?
I have Jake second, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's move it over to the manager of the year. Always my most. This I think is the most corrupt of the picks every year. Not just because I'm a Yankee fan and they never have a chance of winning it, and not because I root for an Aaron Boone team and he has no chance of ever winning it. I just think this is such a dumb award.
I hate this fucking award.
Because what is it really? You're either gonna root for a guy who won 78 games and his team sucks. What does that prove? Or you're going to root for a guy who won 105 games, his team's stacked. So what does that prove? There's just so little impact to me that a manager can make over the course of 162 games. In the playoffs, totally different story. Regular season,
so here's the thing with this shitty award. You have guys that will get votes like Tony La Russa and,
we got a lot of La Russa love early for manager.
Tony La Russa, Dusty Baker, guys that are just dinosaurs in the game. That when they were pitching in their prime weren't getting any love because people were like, oh, we'll bypass them and choose the hot guy. So it's so weird. This award is very, very weird. So there's going to be a lot of Jace Tingler votes, but you know why I don't think it'll be Jace Tingler? Because these voters also punishing you for having a great team. We see it all the time with the Yankee managers and with teams that are stacked. Dodgers, Dave Roberts, teams that are stacked. They're not going to give you that vote because they're going to say, hey, you were handed a hell of a team. But then they'll turn around and vote that executive of the year.
Right. It's total nonsense. It makes no sense to me. A lot of the awards don't, but this one especially. So as a result of that, we can start with you here, Henry. My AL pick is more of a protest, dark horse, sleeper, whatever you want to call it. It's not something you're expecting, but what is your AL manager of the year?
My AL pick is the team that I think is going to just beat the shit out of everyone offensively, and that's Charlie Montoyo from the Jays.
It's a good pick. Good.
If they make the
playoffs, he's probably going to get it.
I'm not going the Joe Madden route. I'm not going the Dusty Baker route. Give me Charlie Montoyo on the Jays.
Mine's even more absurd than that. I am going with Mike Matheny of the Royals, and the reason I'm doing this is because first of all, spring training with the Royals, all they've done, probably because they have nothing else to root for, is raved about Mike Matheny's managing, which cracks me up. Second of all, you are getting some interesting guys like Bobby Witt Jr. is going to make his debut. The Royals they're going to be bad. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they may be like that Joe Girardi Marlins team where they're young, they win in the mid to high 70s. It exceeds everyone's expectations. They do some fun stuff. They're in a division where you can, there's three pretty good teams up there where you can win some games in that division, especially with the Tigers in it. So My choice is Matheny here. He's a boring white guy in a central team, nothing else going on, small market Midwest. And I got Rocco Baldelli just to double down as my runner-up because the Twins are going to win that division.
Most managers are boring white guys in MLB.
Yeah, but you add the Midwest factor, and that's like the holy grail of Manager of the Year awards.
You want to see some fiery managers, you look at guys like Ozzie Guillen, and then they don't last that long because they fuck up one too many times.
Right. It's fair. Brian points out that, if the Royals go 500, everyone's going to love them. That's exactly like Aaron Boone. As much as I hate him, if the Yankees win 105 games this year, if the Royals win 79 or 80, they're probably going to give it to Matheny. So that's just how it is.
I don't remember which chat because God knows how many freaking chats I'm a part of. But there was one that I posted yesterday, I think, where I read the article saying, "Don't sleep on the Royals," and I was like, "I'm sleeping."
I'm telling you, it's an underground thing. There is underground love for the Royals this year, creeping around the circles of MLB.
No, it is. You get that one team every year. Every year you get one team out of nowhere that no one saw coming. And you try to, not you, but, fans and writers and people on Twitter, they try to be the guy to guess who that's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the Royals.
For like the once in 15 years when they're actually right. And they're like, see, I told you the Angels were going to make the World Series this year.
Definitely not.
Yeah. The Angels are like the opposite of that. I feel like every year we pick them or I don't, you don't, but someone picks them for the playoffs every year. And every year they're like, no, we're still 77 wins. There's nothing you could do to change it.
Of course, they have the Mets to thank for letting them get over the hump and win a World Series to actually boost attendance, raise ticket prices, and then just go into tank mode 2 to 3 years later. Thanks, Mets.
Let's start. Oh man! By the way, I'm seeing hot seat conversation. Yes,
Aaron Boone.
If the Yankees, in my mind, if the Yankees don't make Game 7 of the ALCS, he should be fired. But I think it has to be if they don't make the ALCS, he has to be fired. If they have another divisional round or less knockout, there's no way you can give him a new contract.
Fuck Aaron Boone.
Yeah.
Yankees win the World Series, and I want him fired.
You had 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 4 different World Series iterations. If you don't make the World Series, especially this year when the AL is really not that strong, there's no excuse. Girardi got you within a game with like a ragtag team of 91 win Yankees. Like there's no way to justify this.
Going to hot seat, I could see a guy I could see Tony La Russa, one and done.
Oh yeah, Dusty Baker, I think is on the hot seat.
I could see Joe Madden in a situation where he's one and done. There's a lot of guys I could see happening.
He would resign, I think. Okay. But yeah, I could see that too.
I'm trying to think.
So
I could see a situation where Terry Francona finally hands the reins over to Sandy Alomar as well.
It's a good call. I could see that. I mean, I hate to say it, but his health could also just go in any direction.
They've been doing the right thing. They've identified who they want to be their next manager, and it's clear that Sandy's being groomed, and he's their guy after Tito steps down, whenever that is. So, yeah.
We're getting asked who's going to replace Boone. There's like a million. I know who ours is. Yeah, I'm ready to bring Beltran out of his closet of shame. Look, Hinch and Cora are already back in the league.
Carlos Beltran, goddammit!
Beltran served an extra year. That's fine with me. He served his time.
He served his time, and Alex Cora is back with the Red Sox. The Mets moved on. Everything's calmed down.
Yeah.
Why am I drawing? AJ Hinch got a job already. I mean,
yeah.
Beltran. I think Beltran got the biggest hit because he never got to manage.
Right, and that's why, because he didn't have a track record. So it's way easier to be like this guy.
Beltran to manage, and I'll be happy as shit.
I can tie the NL Manager of the Year into this, by the way, because my runner-up for Manager of the Year in the NL, Luis Rojas, who replaced Carlos Beltran with the Mets. Okay. Why? Because as we know, I've got the Mets in second place in the NL East. I'll get to more on them later when we talk about the divisions, but I like Rojas as a runner-up. The winner, though, and I would have picked him even if he didn't have an awesome offseason as far as the franchise goes, just based on his porn star name, and that is Jace Tingler is my NL Manager of the year.
It's funny. I had a feeling his name would come up with, the name of the show being Dunk City. It's too perfect. Jace Tingler is my runner-up. Like I said, I think he gets penalized for having an awesome team. His roster, his rotation, that team is stacked. I mean, everyone's predicting 100-win season. So if you come in anything under that, are you really the manager of the year? I'm going the opposite direction. I'm going with Luis Rojas here.
Okay. Another flip-flop.
I think Luis Rojas is going to get the most out of his team than any manager in the NL. Dodgers are loaded, and their manager's so-so. Padres are loaded, and then I have the Mets as a third best team in the NL, and I think Luis Rojas is going to get the best out of that team. And I think Luis Rojas is the right guy. I've heard things in the New York media here about him being on a hot seat. I don't think he should be on the hot seat.
He can't be on the hot seat this year. I mean, this is year one of a team that hasn't.
New York media is the worst when it comes to sports. So
that'd be totally unfair.
My manager of the year, I'm going with Luis Rojas.
And by the way, Steve Cohen doesn't strike me as an owner who would do that either. I think he's a little more level-headed.
Randy's egging me on to go into a Tingus Pingus rant. Who the fuck is this guy? You guys had to see the Audible yesterday.
Let's move on to the fun awards. These are the MVP awards. Stick with the NL here. My MVP awards are pretty boring, and the reason is because to me, these two players are just so obvious. I'm going with Juan Soto in the NL. Yeah. It was easy for me to pick Soto because Betts is on the year that he's not supposed to play well. And a lot of those Dodgers guys and Padres guys like Tatis probably going to cancel Tatis and Machado. Those guys are going to cancel each other out. I've got Freddie Freeman as the runner-up, the most boring, most consistently solid guy on a good team who puts up crazy numbers every year, but he's a first baseman, and Acuna is going to steal votes from him. So for me, Soto is the only guy who doesn't have that threat of someone taking his votes. Nationals are probably not going to be terrible, and he is an absolute monster, scares the living hell out of me at 22 years old.
Yeah, so for NL MVP, it's there's so many choices, man. You can go with Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna Jr., who's the next coming of Jesus, probably. Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado had an amazing season last year and the year before that no one talks about. Bryce Harper is still Bryce Harper. He's there. Christian Yelich, he's primed for a comeback season.
Yeah, Maddie said Yelich.
I'm going with the best hitter in baseball, Juan Soto, as the NL MVP.
Yeah, we're aligned there. By the way, I'm shocked the first three awards we didn't agree on anything. Yeah. We had first and second in correctly, just opposite. Yeah. But yeah, we are aligned on Juan Soto.
Who was your AL pick? Trout?
We're aligned on AL pick too. I'm going with Mike Trout.
Nope.
You're not going with Trout.
I'm not going with Mike Trout. I'm not going with Mike Trout. I could have gone with Mike Trout. I could have gone with Jose Ramirez. I could have gone with Aaron Judge because I think a healthy Aaron Judge, one, the game needs to see because this kid has gotten better every year and we just need to see him healthy. I'm going complete off the rails. He's going to have such a monster season offensively because he's DHing. You saw what he could do in the playoffs. I'm going there. Giancarlo Stanton is winning the American League MVP.
Every year, I feel like.
Last year.
I'm going there.
Rob backed me up every year, I feel like, since he's come to the Yankees, we have gotten a Giancarlo Stanton MVP pick.
I'm going there.
It's true, but you know what? I mean, now because he blew up last year in the playoffs, and he basically gave you a taste of what he can do
right
by himself. But in the full season, if healthy,
right,
he could be right. He could win an MVP.
I'm not worried about his ceiling. He's won an MVP. We know he has that ceiling. My problem is the staying healthy all year part. He's never reached the ceiling.
He's gonna stay healthy this year. I feel it. My issue is he'd have to put up such a monster offensive season to overcome being a DH.
Yeah.
So when Aaron Judge does go down, Giancarlo Stanton will play right field. And he will remind everyone that he's a very good right fielder at that. And he will win the MVP this year.
It's going to have to be like a 51-30 season to start.
I might add, it could be worse. Somebody else already picked Gary Sanchez as the MVP.
No one is allowed to pick Gary Sanchez.
I will give you a Gary Sanchez prediction. He does not make the year on this team.
Yeah, so my take when I read that article or whatever it was, the comment about Gary Sanchez was that Gary Sanchez is more likely not to be a starting catcher in Major League Baseball by the end of this year than an MVP candidate. And that's absolutely true. I think they're already kind of waffling on the thought of him starting now. And his season hasn't started just because his spring was so bad. By late May, it's a full-blown controversy in New York. I have no hesitation saying that Gary Sanchez is not going to be a starter by the end of this year.
Rob, can you do me a favor, Rob?
Yep.
Grab all the screenshots in the comment section after my Stanton pick.
Okay. Definitely.
Thank you.
Anyway, I am going with Trout, and really, it was kind of process of elimination. Obviously, Mike Trout can win an MVP. There's no doubt about that, but the Yankees always cancel themselves out. Carlos Correa is a sleeper pick, but he's not going to stay healthy for a full season, even in a walk year.
I think he's going to stay healthy, and I think he's going to have a monster season because he's trying to get paid.
Yeah, of course. Xander Bogaerts is my runner-up. I think we always forget about him. The dude is a top shortstop.
Forget about him.
He's on a team where he could do some damage.
I just like Rafael Devers more.
You like what?
Devers more.
I think Bogart's the better player at the more premium position, but Devers putting up that year that we've kind of been talking about with Gleyber Torres, like he's in that class of age. If he finally does that, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think Xander's my runner-up. I think he's going to have a monster year.
The Carlos Correa pick, if someone picks that, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think healthy, being on a free agent year, he was good last year. He was good the year before. I could see it. He's trying to prove to everyone that he is a shortstop still.
Right. So that's the reason for I think Correa can be a candidate. Someone has to be on that Houston team for them to do as well as I think they might. We know Trevor Story's by default not going to have a huge year because he's in Colorado. And I say that because of their lineup, not because of where he hits. Corey Seager, I think, will get eaten up with all the other talent there, even if he does have a big year. That leaves us with Francisco Lindor. New setting, new league. Sometimes we see guys adjust. It's a pitcher's ballpark. It's not a hitter's ball. I mean, I don't think Cleveland's a severe hitter's park by any means, but it's a pitcher's ballpark in a new league. We've seen guys struggle. What are your expectations for Lindor year one with the Mets?
I think Francisco Lindor is going to have, I think all of the shortstops, by the way, all of the free agent shortstops, they're going to just go off. They're going to go off because they're all going to get paid. Yeah, I can see Lindor absolutely crushing it in New York. I don't know what he was thinking turning down that deal, man. I don't get it. I don't know what he was thinking.
Good point. So we haven't talked about that. We could touch on that real quick. I had said when we started talking a Lindor extension, what might it look like? For me, I always just like to take comps. It's just like real estate. You take comps to try and figure something out. 8 to 10 years was the range I have due to his age. I think he's going to be like 28, turning 28 or is 28 by the time he's a free agent. That's 2 years older than Machado and Harper were. It's a year older than Betts was. So 8 to 10 years, that sweet spot. The salary, I think you have to look at beating Machado, who came in as a shortstop, $300 million. You're obviously going to top that. Bryce Harper, $330, just again from that draft, from that class of free agents. I think he's going to look to beat that. I don't think he's Mookie Betts. He's not Mike Trout. So by default, I would say 331 is what he's going to look for. And 380 is not what he's going to get, or whatever Betts got. I can't remember. I don't think he broke 400 though.
No, he didn't.
Right.
375, 380. It was
something like that. So in my mind, you're swimming in that 330 to 340 range for 8 to 10 years. The Mets come out with a offer of 10,325, which is very, very fair in my opinion. It gives you the full 10 years. The 325 might be a buck short, but they come back with 12,385, which is absolutely absurd. You'd be silly if you're any team, not just the Mets, to pay that. I think ultimately this will be like how we've been seeing in the last year. And we don't know what the CBA holds. That's kind of a wild card. But if it's based similarly to this year, we saw DJ LeMahieu asking for 125. We saw George Springer, what he was asking for. None of these guys got that. I think for Lindor, you're looking at I think you settle at 10,331, maybe 10,335, give him an extra 10 million. Looks like he wins the negotiation. He's not going to sniff 385.
I have two takeaways from this.
Yeah.
Number one, Steve Cohen went to dinner with Lindore and his family. Everyone always shits on the Mets, and it's a Wilpon thing. Wilpons are cheap. The Wilpons this. They got a real owner. Steve Cohen took the bull by the horns. I don't think I've ever seen an initial offer so gaudy and so in your face, like this is the offer. So my first takeaway is Steve Cohen went into it and said, I'm just going to give you my max offer up front. There's no way you're going to turn that down. And I don't blame him because that was an absolute monster offer.
Very fair.
That brings me to my second realization. Francisco Lindor doesn't want to play for the Mets. Because if you turn that down, you can't honestly turn around and think you're going to get more than that. Francisco Lindor is playing a game of chicken that he may lose. I don't know that if any other team in baseball would offer that same contract this moment. If Lindor gets hurt in the season, he's fucked.
And I keep thinking about what is his market really? You know, you look at teams who are going to be competing, who have the money, who need a shortstop, and you have the Yankees, you have the Mets, maybe you have the Astros, maybe you have the Dodgers.
Yep.
After that, it starts to get Nationals might because Trey Turner's going into his walk year.
I think,
and then the Rockies aren't going to replace Story. So you're talking about 4 elite shortstops, 5 if you count Trey Turner the following year, and maybe 6 or 7 teams who need one who are competing. It's not a great supply and demand situation for Lindor.
You have a situation where guys have been getting some stupid contracts. Trevor Bauer, Garrett Cole, that at the beginning of those negotiations, as fans, you're like, there's no way they're going to get this much money, and then they end up getting way more.
Yeah.
So I think Francisco Lindor and his agent threw out a number so absurd that if the Mets said, okay, you can't turn that down now. I'm like, all right, I'll take that money if you're going to be foolish enough to pay me. The Mets did the right thing. They came out the gate with a ridiculously insane offer, which if I'm Lindor, I'm signing on the dotted line because you're in New York. That's a team that, you know, is going to be relevant for a while. Great fan base, new owner, new GM. There's a lot of things going right for the Mets right now. So I can't see the asking for 12,385 unless you just don't want to be on this team.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I can't see any other reason. This would have given him the top AAV for shortstops. It would have given him the 4th highest contract, I think, in Major League Baseball. He is not a top 4 player, so they're doing right by him there. And yeah, it's not as much as Harper, but Harper's getting that over 13 years. You're talking about 10 years. The AAV is much higher if you're Lindor.
I tell you where this ends up. If Lindor doesn't sign an extension with the Mets, to save face, he ends up signing a deal right around what the Mets offered him, slightly a little more just to save some face. Like when you see players who don't take the qualifying offer and then end up signing for like a couple $100,000 more, you're going to see that. Somebody's going to end up getting Lindor for very, very similar money than the Mets offered. And if I'm a Mets fan, I don't hang my head. I think this was a great offer. And there's other guys you can replace him with. Carlos Correa is a perfect fit on the Mets team.
Yeah.
You take one great Puerto Rican shortstop and you put another one in.
Great season for Correa. You're looking at, I think, between 200 and 300. Lindor, I would say if he doesn't want to play for the Mets and he does go somewhere else, regardless of where he goes, 10,335, you give him an opt-out after 5 years, you front load the contract. If he walks with 110 or whatever left on the second half of that contract, great. If he, he got paid up front, $40 million a year, whatever you want to do, that's how I would structure it. And that's it. Yeah, you want 350, 360, 380, like there's no way he's not worth that. It's just not.
Tells me he's targeting a specific team, or he wants to play in a specific team, or he really thinks that he's worth more than $385 million.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to, look, this is capitalism, supply and demand. He'll see what he's worth when he's out on the market.
Supply is high at that position this offseason. So
yeah, but you're right. I mean, I'm sure his agent has to know about what other shortstops are going to be out there, but you're right. You ruined your hamstring this year.
Can anyone look this up, or Rob? I wonder if his agent is the agent for any of the other free agent shortstops.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Rob, see the agents of Story, Correa, Lindor, and Seager. I'm curious. One of them has to be Boris, one or more. I think Correa might be Boris. Anyway, so we'll get to that. But anyway, so yeah, no, we're totally in agreement with how those will go. Let's get into the divisional picks here. Now we did our divisional picks already, so we know what order we're going to go in if you just want to sprinkle in actual playoff predictions. So to reiterate, AL East we could start with. I have the Yankees winning that division. I've got them pegged for about 97 wins. I have the Rays in second, which I know you had the Jays in second. I've got the Rays around 88 wins. I've got the Jays at 87. I think that's going to come down to the wire, be very close. I'm giving the Rays the edge for reasons I mentioned last week. Red Sox fourth, Orioles fifth. So here's my hot take, my first hot take. Yankees are the only East team that makes the playoffs this year in the AL.
Interesting.
Yep, I don't have Rays or Jays winning the wild card.
Let me guess.
Let's go back to you for the East, and then we'll keep going.
Let me see if I can predict what you're going to do. You have two Central teams.
I don't. No. This is very surprising.
Wow.
You know what? I'll finish up the AL. You could do the AL, then we'll move back.
I'm sorry. I have to show this on the podcast because I was just playing with the pen, and I know Jacob and Leon will get a kick out of this. Disgusting.
Oh, it's Hardaway Jr. too. That's the best. That's amazing.
That was disgusting. Sorry. AL, I'm gonna go. I have the A's in the West, like you said, the Yankees, Central, and the Twins. I'm gonna give you my two wild card teams. I'm gonna go Toronto and the White Sox, or the Chicago Cubans.
This is a smarter way to do it, by the way. So I'll go Yankees and Twins. We're in agreement in, and A's. We have all three division winners. We're in agreement. For the record, I have the Yankees with the best record in the AL for the first time, I might add, in this entire stretch for them. Twins, I have winning the Central. I've got the White Sox as the top wild card, 92 wins. And I've got the Astros as my second wild card, 89 wins. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight three-way race for that last playoff spot. So anyway, that brings me to the playoffs for the AL. Obviously, it would be, in my mind, the Astros playing the White Sox in Chicago. I have Chicago winning that game. I think Giolito's going to ace out the Astros, which then would mean White Sox versus Yankees, and it would mean Twins versus A's, battle of the choke artists. I've got Yankees in 4, and then I've got the A's obviously beating the Twins in 4, but the Twins actually winning a game, breaking that streak. And then I've got Yankees over the White Sox. Welcome, Jay. Welcome home.
Give me a World Series pick. Yankees. I think we finally see it. Yankees, Dodgers. There we go.
There we go.
7-game series.
I like that.
Go watch that.
Yankees over White Sox in 6 in the ALCS is what I've got. What do you have to finish out your AL side?
I didn't go as far as to give the matchups. I would absolutely love a Yankees White Sox ALCS. I think that has all the magic written all over it. You have the Yankees, you have all the Cubans the Yankees don't like, you have young players. I was absolutely
international flavor for sure.
Absolutely love to see that ALCS. So I'll go with you and we'll say that ALCS. Did you say who you have going to the World Series?
I have Yankees over White Sox in 6.
I will take the same. I will take the Yankees over the White Sox going to the World Series in the AL.
And I got to tell you, this has been the trend with these prediction shows. I really didn't think I was going to pick the Yankees to win the AL until I looked at the AL and I was like, who has a better shot? Like, who can you really point to that's like, they're definitely better?
I'll give you a hot take. Wait. Yeah. The Twins win a series.
Wow. See, I thought it was a hot take.
Not the World Series, a playoff series.
I thought it was a hot take having the Twins win a game in the playoffs, which is what I have.
I was going for that next, is win a game at least.
Yeah, I think they lose to the A's.
They're going to win a series.
Wow. So you have the Twins in the ALCS? You didn't think this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't.
You can't have both. You can't have Yankees, White Sox, and you can't have Twins win a series.
Sorry, Nyland. The Twins are going to Twins. Never mind.
Yeah, that was almost like the Angels in the World Series from Matt Nyland. You actually picked the Twins to win a playoff series, thought about it. You were like, wait, that's impossible.
Yeah,
all right.
Unless they reseed, but we haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not above MLB to do it on the fly either. But So far, we're getting the results from Rob early on, and not one of we've gotten 3 of the 4 shortstops, and none of them have the same agents, and none of them have Scott.
None of them is Scott Boras.
Yeah, shocking. What a year for non-Scott Boras people next winter. Moving on to the NL over here.
Corey Seager's. I'm almost positive Corey Seager's a Boras client.
He was the one I thought for sure, and then I figured a guy like Trevor Story might also be a Boras client, or Correa. I thought it was Correa and Seager who had Boras. Correa has William Morris Endeavor. I don't know what that is. We'll go to the NL, and then we'll finish up with some prop bets.
Yeah, I could chime in on this. Cody, I'm sorry, Corey Seager.
Yeah.
Scott Boras. Yeah. Yep.
He does. All right, so there's one Boras. All right, so 4 different agents.
4 different agents. So I was wondering if the agent maybe had a couple of guys, and he was trying to, play them against each other and cash in for everyone.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder what shortstop's going to sign last next winter. Seager signing in March. Prepare for it. Thank you, Rob, for doing that. Yeah.
Seager to the Astros confirmed.
As we get into the NL here, guys, give me your division winners. Give me your NLCS matchups and winner in the comment section. We'll rattle those off as we go through here.
Leon's having fun here with he said the Padres lose the wild card games to the Nationals.
Yeah, Leon and his takes, man, when it comes to the playoffs, he doesn't mess around. So we have, I think we're also in agreement here with our divisional picks. We had Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, right, winning their divisions.
Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, correct.
Yeah, Braves. I got Braves 98 wins, Brewers 86 wins, and Dodgers 101 wins for what it's worth. So that makes Dodgers the top seed. Braves, of course, getting a bye when they face the Brewers. And then my wild cards, Padres 97 wins, Mets 90 wins.
I have Padres. So I have the Mets in the wild card as well.
No, good. That makes this very easy then. We just have to go through our matchups.
To answer Randy's questions, unless they reseed, it's not possible to have the Padres and the Dodgers in the LCS.
Yeah, unfortunately not possible, even if, because one of them would have to win the wild card. Well, it is possible. Dodgers would have to finish without the best record.
Correct.
Which is just not going to happen. That's the best record in my mind is coming out of the West. Yeah. So with all this in mind, that would mean obviously that the Padres face the Mets. Here is where my DeGrom love comes in. I've got the Mets eliminating the Padres without winning a single playoff game this year, despite all of their hype and despite all of the Tatis mania and everything else. I don't think the Padres are going to win a single playoff game because Jacob DeGrom is going to step on their throat in the play-in game. Mets offense will do just enough against whoever. By the way, that reminds me real quick. Lamet, I think Matt mentioned him as a Sai Young guy. I love that pick, except his elbow is going to explode. So that's my only concern with him there.
All right. So you have the Mets going to the World Series?
No, I don't. I have them winning the wild card round.
Winning the wild card over the Padres. Yeah. Okay.
And then I've got Braves beating the Brewers in 3. I think that'll be a sweep. Just continuing my shitting all over the NL Central. They're not going to win a playoff game again. And then that leaves the Braves and the Dodgers. Oh, sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. Dodgers beat the Mets in 5. I think that's actually going to be a really, really good series, even with DeGrom probably only pitching once in it. But I do think the Dodgers pull it out, just like they did last year. Heart attack kids. They'll beat the Mets in 5. Mets will put up a really good fight. And then it's going to be the Dodgers against a very well-rested Braves team. Dodgers in 6. I'm still not picking the Braves to make the World Series, even though they'll have like every advantage in the world. So there you go.
So that means we'll really get like the Cardinals and the Braves again.
It's going to be something awful. Because last year I had the Dodgers winning the World Series like from preseason.
Right, so but leading up to it, we got some shitty matchups, which we
I was pretty much wrong every step of the way, except knowing the Central was bad. I was pretty much wrong every step of the way in my bracket last year, but I knew the Dodgers would win the World Series. So if you're a Mets fan or a Brewers fan or a Padres fan, maybe you've got a chance before you lose to the Dodgers. That's all I'm saying. What do you have? How's this shaking out for you?
You ready? You ready for this?
Yeah. It's going to be something nuclear hot. I could feel it.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
The Mets make it to the World Series.
Well, walk me through that thought process, because you, like me, have the Mets playing the Padres. So obviously you have the Mets beating the Padres.
So if you remember in the last show we had, I said if there was a team that I liked to face the Padres lineup, it's the Mets.
Yeah.
I think the Mets have the pitching to beat the Padres in a short series or in a long series. I think the Mets are equipped to do that. I think this Mets team is really good. I'm really high on them, and I have them beating everyone. I have them beating the Dodgers in the NLCS in the Classic. I have them beating the Dodgers in NLCS, and I have them going to the World Series. So what does that mean, Vince?
You mean you got Yankees Dodgers?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have Yankees Mets. You have a Subway Series. I have Yankees Dodgers.
I have a Subway Series World Series matchup this year.
You obviously want to kill baseball. I'm trying to save it with my matchup.
I have the Mets and the Yankees in the World Series this year.
I'm trying to just sift through here. We got Cards over Braves from Leon. We've got Braves in the World Series. Larry's never going to get off the Reds train. Trust me, Larry, that's not a fun train. I was on it last year. It didn't go anywhere. Sean's got the Padres missing the playoffs entirely and winning 83 games. That's kind of a hot take. I like it.
You know what would be fun about the Subway Series? The Cubs and Met fans in the group have kind of developed this rivalry against each other. So now the Cub fans will probably root for the Yankees, who they also hate, but they hate the Met fans even more.
It would be very fascinating to me. You bring up an entirely new point. It would be so fascinating to me from a Cubs fan perspective if it's Yankees Mets in the World Series. Because while Cubs fans very, very clearly hate the Yankees, but for some reason just will not admit it, like with their life on the line.
Nor do they have a reason to.
They also, you're right, have this weird archaic rivalry with the Mets that doesn't make any sense. And to add a little extra layer to it, if it's Mets Yankees in the World Series, this was the extra layer. The cheating scandal, for whatever reason they joined together, very likely because they both hate the Yankees. Mm-hmm. And obviously Yankee fans being screwed every single year by the scandal are very emotional about it. So it's going to be like a civil war kind of, but it was already a civil war. So I don't really know what to, I'm Cubs fans. If you're listening, I know you are, Jake Hibbert. Who would you root for in a Yankees Mets World Series? I'm very curious because they love to think that cheating does not benefit anyone, but they also love to think that they don't hate the Yankees and they also love to talk shit about the Mets. And it's a very interesting paradox.
And the reason I didn't go Yankees Dodgers is because it's obvious. It's the best possible matchup, and we never get the best possible matchup.
We never ever I think every single year I've been alive, we have never had the best matchup. 2003, remember? Supposed to be Cubs Red Sox.
I remember.
Didn't get either one. And then to make it worse, the Marlins made it because Cubs Yankees would have been awesome. And then the Marlins win the World Series. That to me was like the biggest cuck job of a playoff.
Not only do they win the World Series, they have a team full of just studs. I think they have 2 or 3 Hall of Famers on that team, and then end up just disbanding the team. They win a second chip and just
and then they traded the entire team the next year. Yeah. Yep.
So and also I do think for the health of baseball, I think you have the best ratings. I think you'll have the best reaction, best interaction with the Yankees Dodgers World Series.
Yeah, I mean, Yankees Dodgers conceivably can have like 10 MVP candidates on it if things went right for those teams.
But I'm like I said before, I think that World Series hangover is a thing for the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, I see it. Interesting. Sean says that they hate New York, but not the Yankees, which is even more opposite and lying than I thought he would come out with as a Chicago fan. We're seeing so the Yankee pitching staff, I mean, we talked about this last week when we talked about the Eastern divisions a little bit. It's shaky, yes, but it also has a lot of options. And for me, I'm going with options this year. I don't think any pitching staff in baseball has the combination of reliable health and reliable upside. So for me, if you've got 7, 8, 9 guys who can get you through a season and have upside, I'm going with that. So that's why the Yankee rotation doesn't upset me or make me nervous. Aaron Boone-Ovus makes me nervous. But again, every team's got their thing. My main problem with the Yankees is their bullpen. And it's not going to be like that all year. Like Wilson and Britton will be back. It's the first half of the year could be rough.
Neither one of those two things bother me. I actually like their bullpen, and I actually like their rotation. It's not a consistent rotation of the same guy every 5 days, but it's a patchwork rotation with a ton of high upside that I'm absolutely in love with.
Right. Yep. And now we got Matt saying that the White Sox have that combination, which they absolutely do not, for the record.
Literally put Lynn in there.
I mean, we want to go through the White Sox rotation. Giolito, fine, stud, just like Garrett Cole. Dallas Keuchel.
It's Giolito, and then
yeah, you got Dallas Keuchel, his chronic neck and back problems, and 120 innings out of him, maybe. You got Lance Lynn, fat, probably reliable, so I'll give you that. Like, he could be a good, solid number 2. You got Dylan Cease, who's proven nothing. Reynaldo Lopez, who's awful. Michael Kopech, who hasn't pitched in 2 years. I mean, they've got just as many question marks as anyone else does. Upside, yeah, sure, but not any more upside than a team like the Yankees would. I can make the same case for Corey Kluber. He could be vintage Corey Kluber. Jamison Talion could have his breakout year because he's not on the Pirates and he's healthy again.
Let's put a stop to that shit now. There's no way Corey Kluber is going to be vintage Corey Kluber.
No, of course not. I mean, this is just the stuff you deal, but every team's dealing with it.
Yeah, because I see
Montgomery might have his best year ever. He's finally healthy, and he has no innings.
I said he's going to be the second best starter in the Yankees.
Yeah, so I mean, come on. Well, like I like what the White Sox have to offer. I have them in the ALCS for a reason. They could very well beat the Yankees in the playoff series. I'm not saying they can't, but I am saying that they have just as many question marks in that rotation as the Yankees do. If you go 1 through 8, 1 through 9, they have just as many questions. Because they don't really have much 7, 8, 9 that I'd rely on.
Matt is doubling down with the all-too favorite. He had a good spring.
Dylan Cease, man. I will wish him the best because it makes the Cubs trade look worse. But I'll believe Dylan Cease when I see it, just like I'll believe a Clark Schmidt when I see it. And Schmidt, I think we might lose him for the year. So we'll see. But they suck until they don't. Anyway, this leads us to the World Series here. I've got Yankees-Dodgers. This is where I jump off of the Yankees bandwagon. This is where the Aaron Boone stuff and all those little crossing T's and dotting I's come to haunt me. Dodgers are also just a better team. They have a better bullpen. Well, may not have a better bullpen. They have a better rotation for me. They have a better staff. They have a better offense. They have a deeper farm system. They have a better run team, even though Dave Roberts also would worry me. I've got Dodgers in 6 over the Yankees in the World Series.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I get it.
What's your I'll tell you this. If I had the Subway Series, I would take Yankees over the Mets, even with that great pitching staff, assuming it's healthy.
The Yankees and the Mets put on a classic World Series.
You think 7?
I think the Yankees win in 7, and I think Francisco Lindor comes across the dugout, and he has his custom-made jersey, and he signs his contract right on the field at the end of the World Series. And he is your starting shortstop next year for the Yankees.
It's so funny because when I went to Wrigley Field in 2017, it was very much like that with Aroldis Chapman. It was the ring ceremony. I think it was the ring they gave Aroldis Chapman the World Series ring. Yeah, and it was just so funny to me because it's like you could see that with Lindor. Like Yankees or Mets in the World Series, and Lindor just like immediately walks across the dugout as soon as it's over.
And I'll be right there with my Puerto Rico hat, like, come baby,
go. Rob, let's finish up here with some prop bets you have for us.
Okay, let's see. I got some prop bets here. Well, first off, would you like to hear the odds to win the World Series from the prop bets, or do you just want to Can
you share that? Do you have a screenshot of that? Because I just want to.
I could share it. Let me just.
I just want to see if there's anything I like in there.
Go ahead.
I'll almost never, ever, I think if my life depended on it, even take a Yankees World Series odds just out of both superstition, and they usually have shitty betting odds, but.
Rob is too busy closing the X video tabs.
Yeah. I mean, Padres plus 800 is not awful right off the bat. White Sox plus, see, this is where I'll come to the White Sox defense. White Sox plus 1600, that's totally worth it to me if I'm a betting man. They really don't have that much to get through. And if you take into account the Yankees could very well have injuries, and then we're not talking the same thing we are on March 31st. They could have there's a scenario the White Sox have a cakewalk into the World Series. Maybe they don't win it, but they could have a cakewalk into the World Series if everything goes right for them.
I'll tell you what, The A's at plus 2,800 is not a bad bet.
Yeah. Oh, so what? Yeah. What's to the right?
Basically, it's the current World Series odds from as of March 19th.
What they opened up at versus
I gotcha.
what right now.
Yeah.
So that's tightened up then.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going down. I just want to see if there's any dark horse I can. Well, Mets 3,300. I'd take that all day long if I'm
Yeah, but currently they're at 1,200. So.
Okay. Oh, so I've got it in reverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
Cardinals seem like always a nice boring bet to make for no reason.
The Diamondbacks at 12,500.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
What
Give me some prop bets, Rob.
Yeah, give me some prop bets so we could wrap it up here.
Okay, let's see here. Let me go back here. And we guess. So one of the prop bets that I saw earlier was who will hit the most home runs in the season, and Mike Trout is already up on here.
Is this for each league?
No, for in general. This is in general.
Yeah. I actually would bet against Trout doing that.
Yeah, he's at plus 850 right now. Pete Alonso's at plus 900. Christian Yelich at plus 2,500 right now.
I got to think about this for a second. Home run leader.
I just told you, Giancarlo Stanton. That's the answer.
You know, if an enormous caveat, if Stanton's healthy, I would absolutely make that bet. But obviously, that goes
right now. I pulled up the odds. Rob, I got this.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe just.
Hold on, let me share my screen. Let me know. You got it? You see it?
I see it.
All right.
Yep.
So here are the odds to lead. You have Mike Trout plus 900, which is insane to me.
I'd take Soto over Trout.
I'd take Alonso over Trout.
Yeah, I think that's fair too.
Trout.
Not taking that Aloy bet. That's a bad bet. Don't make it.
I'm taking Soto. I'm taking Aaron Judge over Trout.
I'd take Yelich over Trout, I think, honestly.
Stanton's at plus 2,000 right there.
How many home runs did Miguel Sano hit last year?
Oof, let's see.
On the Twins, didn't everyone just hit 38 and just split it evenly?
Devers and Fenway.
Lefty Fenway. Not as big of a fan of that.
I'll take over Trout. This is not bad here.
It's
yeah. No hit 13 last year.
All right.
Yep.
Not bad at all. You have any other ones, Rob?
Let's see. Hold on. Sorry. Just gotta put this here.
I have a fun one.
Which player will record a stolen base first? The number one is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Who plays the first game?
No, doesn't say what game.
Check the schedule here.
Well,
I mean, Yankees play 5 minutes before everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much.
But neither of those teams really steal bases. So
yeah.
Which pitcher will have more strikeouts during the season? They have Max Scherzer. He's up at minus 135.
Jose Ramirez. That's my answer. He's going to steal the first base of the season.
Yeah, MVP odds. Actually, they said Mike Trout is at 220 at plus 225. Alex Bregman at plus 1,000, and Gleyber Torres at 2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have Bregman at plus 1,000 for MVP.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of people are high. A lot of the betting sites are high.
Here's an interesting one right here. Remember, Cleveland doesn't have a name yet. They're gonna be called the Cleveland Baseball Club.
Yeah.
So, number one for at 200 is the Spiders, or number two at 400 will be they'll stay as the Cleveland baseball team. Or 3 at plus 1,000, the Guardians, which I kind of dig that name. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Please don't do Cleveland baseball. I mean, that's such a stupid. Washington's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's such a dumb thing to do. Anyway, my vote was Spiders even before I heard the odds. I'd still stick with that. It just makes so much sense in so many ways. Easily marketable.
Mm-hmm.
I like Guardians though. That's nice. That's like how I like Orlando Avengers if they got a expansion team. That's like my dark horse Avenger Orlando team name. They chose Dreamers as like the front runner. That's stupid.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that for the most strikeouts, they still have Justin Verlander up there at plus 120, even though he's out for the season. So
that hasn't been updated.
Yeah, but number 3 is there's going to be a tie at in general a tie at plus 115. That's what it says here. Yeah.
I know Vegas has the Dodgers as the only team to win over 100 games. 102.5 to be exact.
I think that's right too. I meant to mention that earlier. I think Dodgers are the only team that win 100 plus this year. I've got Padres and Yankees obviously at like 97-ish.
I have 3 teams eclipsing 100 wins.
You have what?
3 teams eclipsing 100 wins.
Dodgers. You think I didn't get your? You think Yankees break 100?
Yankees and Padres both.
Okay. Wow, 2 NL West 100 plus win teams, huh?
So
2018 AL East action there.
You have pennant odds as well here. Yankees are up right now at plus 260 for the pennant. Tampa at 1,000. Got the White Sox at 425. Twins 900 for the NL. Dodgers are at plus 170, and the Padres are at plus 500. Braves
plus 170 is not even worth it.
No.
Yeah, no, yeah. What else? Stuff.
Did you know Geico could say?
For divisions, they have a lot of people got Oakland at 150.
Yeah, well, don't worry about divisions because we already picked our division winners. So I'm not backing off my own choice this early. All right, well, yeah, so there you go. Henry's got.
Real quick, you have RBI leaders. Juan Soto is at plus 800. He leads the league and leads prop betting. Manny Machado and Marcelo Osuna, the next 2. Top 3 favorites to hit leaders: Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, DJ LeMahieu. I will take any one of those 3. Most runs scored on prop bets, you have Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna. That makes a ton of sense.
It has to be Betts in my mind.
Yep. Also here, MLB most wins total. Got the Dodgers at 103.5, Yankees at 96.5, Padres at 94.5, Braves 91.5, White Sox 90.5. Even the Mets are 90.5.
I got one more for you, Vince, before we sign off.
Yeah.
Vegas thinks that Trevor Bauer will have the most wins in the season.
There you go. I mean, it makes sense playing for the Dodgers. And he's not one of those guys, he's built up.
Yeah.
Built up playing for the best team in baseball in a pitcher's park. That makes sense.
This was fun. This was really fun.
So, by the way, to clarify, so you have Yankees over Mets in 7? Was that
I have the Yankees over Mets in 7.
Okay. And I've got Dodgers over Yankees in 6. And I'll do it there. It's another one in the books, Rob. You got to save all that.
Wait,
yep,
what?
I have it all saved. Yep.
What do you got, Rob?
What
do we got here? What do we got here?
Hold on.
Hi.
What's good, baby?
He is like so happy.
Ready for tomorrow?
I figure you'd be on the road right now, camping out at Yankee Stadium.
No, not yet.
I'm ready to offer Randy an extra bed in my house.
You said you had extra snacks, baby. I'm there.
Randy, give me your World Series picks.
I said in the comment section, I really am really high on the Padres, and I don't see another team in the NL better than the Yankees. So I'm going to go with that. A rematch of the World Series in the late '90s, but I actually think the Padres are a much better team. So I think the Padres end up beating the Yankees in the World Series.
If we get that World Series, I want the same exact results with the same bludgeoning that happened when it happened back then.
Oh yeah, of course.
That would be fun. So what do you think of my Yankee Mets prediction?
I think this group would be a disaster. I said that in the comment section as well. We got a little sniff of the Mets making the World Series a few years ago and what that was like in some of these groups. Especially Yankees Mets, like it's not a rivalry, but it is still a rivalry. It's New York City. It's, the fan bases are both so vocal and polarizing. Like it would just be a clash of essentially the Titans, because I do think they're both very good teams. But I am an admin of this group. I might have to just lay low and not be an admin of this group that week.
Well, I tell you, if we got that World Series, the one thing you would get is Mets actually participating in the threat.
Yeah. Well, do you think they'd hang a banner that said played the Yankees in the World Series in 2021, or they might put up a whole?
Yeah.
I did hear that Steve Cohen wanted to take out the wild card banner. I wonder if
Okay.
So that would be a great move, and like just a statement. Yo, we're taking this wild card banner off. Fuck that.
It really is one of the more embarrassing things I've seen at a ballpark, and I'm surprised they went that far just to say that they were a wild card round participant. It is like Colts level of saying like they put in a Final Four participant when they played the Patriots in the AFC title game back in I think it was 2014. It was the Deflategate game. They put a banner saying that they played in that game. Like they got killed in that game. Why would you even do that to yourself?
Well, we're excited for opening day tomorrow, and I can't wait. I don't know how much sleep I'm going to get tonight. You excited?
I just want to address something, by the way, too. I got called a kid. I got called anxious. You know how I got called nervous at the beginning of the show. Look, it's not that I thought I was going to test positive. There's a whole timing issue here. There's a dumb rule that you can get a PCR test within 72 hours, and then you have to get a rapid test within 6 hours. I got a PCR test yesterday. If it didn't come in tonight, I would have to wake up tomorrow, get a test in the 8 o'clock hour. Hopefully it's negative, then drive 2.5 hours to Yankee Stadium. It's a whole timing issue for me, more so than me worrying about having the virus. It's just, all right, now I got to wake up, do this. Now I got to make sure I'm negative. Then I got to make sure I can drive down, because guess what? And all that stuff, one thing goes wrong there, Henry. You're out, the money that it took for you to get that extra ticket for me. And I would have felt bad. So
insert Key and Pill sweating GIF.
It's a gift for one, actually. But
it's
so many upstate New York.
We're not doing this again.
It's GIF. It's GIF. The guy who created it.
I don't care what the guy who created it said.
GIF.
Thank you.
I don't care what he says. He's wrong.
Vince,
but
we decided this already in the chat, did we not, Vince?
Yeah, no. I mean, it was already proven, decided, everything. It already happened. We know that it's GIF.
We don't know that it's GIF because it's wrong. But anyway, I'm not here to argue about peanut butter or graphic, images or whatever. I'm just happy I get to go to opening day with you, Henry. Thank you for thinking of me. I cannot wait. I'm also not going to sleep tonight. I'm so excited.
Anything else, boys? Vince?
I'm good. I'm preparing for my one and only draft. So here we go, going live here in 19 minutes. So I'm good to go. I am excited for opening day tomorrow. I hope you guys have a ton of fun. Send some pictures to the group.
Oh, we're going to go live. We're going to post pictures. Forget it. Yeah.
And obviously, good luck to the Yankees tomorrow.
This is the last Dong City that is attached to the 2020 season. The next Dong City will fully address the 2021 season. 2020 is behind us. 2021 is forward. Hopefully, we have a full 162 games slated to be played. And I'm excited. Anything else? Nothing else?
My prediction. Hold up.
Go ahead.
Yankees, Padres in 4.
Yankees over Padres?
Damn.
All right, you have the exact 98 repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. You got to write that down, Rob. And 7 p.m. normal time Monday Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern time next Monday. You can catch Randy down there over Tuesdays at 8 p.m. for the Audible with Matt Bushnell. This has been Dong City. We will talk to you guys Monday. Everyone, have a great night.
Dong City, bitches.